Last year, as the Pac-12 completely fell apart, two teams were left behind in the dust. Oregon State and Washington State did not end up joining a power conference just like their other conference members, and they were forced to have a temporary partnership with the Mountain West Conference. In theory, that should result in some success in 2024. Definitely a little bit of an easier schedule for both of these programs, but that success is definitely a lot easier said than done. So welcome back to the Gridiron Expert, guys. We're so glad you could join us today to talk a little bit about Oregon State and Washington State, two teams that were power teams for so long, and now I feel like have been kind of forgotten. People are not talking about the Beavers and the Cougars like maybe we would in a normal season. We are kind of putting them on the back burner because they are not a member of a Power 4 conference this year. So we're going to shed a little light on them now before prediction season, where we, of course, will predict both these teams' full schedules and records. But until then, please continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos. Check out everything down in the description below. That includes our website, thegridironexpert.com, home of our expert picks, where you will get some of the best college football and NFL spread picks in the entire country. They've beat out over 80% of the national handicappers each of the last 6 years. It's going to be 7 by the time it's all said and done this season. It's one of the best prices in the country, one of the best deals in the country, some of the best picks in the country, and you also get access to a lot of other exclusive content on our website that you won't get anywhere else. So go check it out. Sign up for that today. The earlier you do, the better. Also check out our mailing address. Send us some of your team's gear so we can feature them in every single Gridiron Expert video. You send it to our mailing address. We give you that shout out. You get in every single video back here. All this stuff has been sent in by you guys. So we want you to become a member of our GE Nation. We want to represent your team. And again, all that information can be found down in the description below. So let's take a look at this, guys. The Pac-12 was a phenomenal conference last season. It was really, really good in its last year of existence. But then 4 teams jumped ship to the Big 12. Another 4 teams jumped ship to the Big 10. Stanford and California jumped ship to the ACC because that makes sense. But then Oregon State and Washington State, they didn't go anywhere. And so they were kind of forced. If they wanted to play football, they had to find a way. They had to find some sort of agreement. They couldn't just play each other for 12 weeks. So they kind of joined forces with the Mountain West. They're going to play a lot of their conference members this season. So we're going to kind of give you a brief outlook on both these teams. We'll start with Oregon State. A lot of these teams and a lot of these players, a lot of these coaches for both Oregon State and Washington State saw the writing on the wall last year, right? Jonathan Smith was one of those guys. Rebuilt this Oregon State football program, won 10 games 2 years ago, led the Beavers to an 8-5 record last year, but he saw the writing on the wall, knew the future of the program wasn't going to be that great because, where are they going to go? What's going to happen? So he jumped ship and goes to Michigan State. Leaves Oregon State, goes to Michigan State. So the Beavers now have a new head coach in Trent Bray, who was promoted from defensive coordinator to head coach. And under Bray's leadership, Oregon State had some nasty defenses. They held their opponents to under 23 points per game each of the last 2 years. But this is a team that has a completely new staff, completely new leadership, only 5 total starters back for the Beavers this year. And I know there was additions in the transfer portal, but still, from an experience standpoint, this is a team that does not have a lot of it. Their quarterback, DJ Uiagalelei, last year, he's gone. Deshaun Fenwick and Damian Martinez, gone. 6 of their top 7 pass catchers from last year, gone. 12 of their top 13 tacklers from last year are gone. So this is kind of a skeleton crew for Oregon State. A lot of unknowns on both sides of the ball, and to expect the Beavers to come out and contend for, not really a conference title. There is no conference title, really. But to contend for a 9-10 win season, I feel like that's a little bit unrealistic considering all the new pieces surrounding it. And considering that their schedule isn't all that easy, despite being in the Mountain West. They still face a couple power opponents, right? They still have to play Oregon. So that rivalry, despite the changes, isn't going anywhere. Still got to play a very good Oregon team. They have to play Purdue. They go to California. And then, of course, they do play Washington State. 3 of those games that we mentioned are at home. California is the only road game. But they still have to go to San Diego State, to Air Force, and to Boise State. So some of the better teams in the Mountain West they have to play are all on the road. And that Boise State team is going to be nasty this year. Boise State team that could challenge for a college football playoff spot as the highest-ranked Group of 5 champion. So this is not an easy schedule by any means for an Oregon State team that's going through so many changes. Washington State, on the other hand, definitely has the upper hand when it comes to consistency and maybe a talent aspect as well. definitely have consistency at head coach, entering the third full season under Jake Dickert. But this was a team that last year had really high expectations, like Oregon State. The Cougars started off very hot. They were 4-0, number 13 in the country, and then won one game after that. Washington State looked poised to have a very, very, very good year, ended up finishing the year 5-7, missed out on the postseason. They retained their head coach, though. They do return 10 starters, but they lost Cam Ward to Miami. Lost their star quarterback who jumped ship to go to Miami and hopefully save Mario Cristobal's job over in the ACC. They did add Zevi Eckhouse, though, the quarterback transfer from Bryant. He was the Big South Player of the Year last year. So this might be a Washington State team that isn't, as bare and as in trouble at the quarterback position as maybe Oregon State is. The Cougars also returned their leading tackler and Kyle Thornton, but the secondary is a major concern. A lot of losses in the back seven. So this is a Washington State team that I think talent-wise is in a better shape right now than Oregon State. From a coaching standpoint, in a better shape than Oregon State right now. But the Cougars, like the Beavers, have a difficult schedule too. They have to play Texas Tech in what I like to call the Mike Leach Bowl. So that should be a fun one there against the Red Raiders. They have to go to Washington. They have to go to Oregon State. Those are the only Power 4 opponents that the Cougars play. So they play 3. Oregon State has to play 4 Power 4 opponents. And obviously they're playing each other. But like Oregon State, Washington State has to go to Boise State, to Fresno State, and to San Diego State. But the home schedule is relatively favorable for the Cougars. It really isn't that bad. So if you made me pick right now, and again, I haven't done too deep of a dive into the schedules for both of these teams. We're going to predict both these teams' records. We're going to have a full video on both of these teams coming out here in just a few weeks, so don't worry about that. But if you made me pick, Washington State seems to be in a bit of a better spot. Bottom line with this is, if you're an Oregon State fan or you're a Washington State fan, you just need to hope for a winning season and a decent bowl berth. Because of the weak strength of schedule, because of this weird situation that you're in, there is no opportunity for a college football playoff berth. There is probably, honestly, no opportunity for a New Year's Six bowl berth unless one of these teams goes undefeated, and I can tell you right now that's not going to happen. So this is a really weird year. Obviously, the state of college football is very, very weird right now, and Oregon State and Washington State kind of got the short end of the stick with this situation. To expect great success because of the conference that they're in, that's a little bit unrealistic. Both these teams are going through a lot of changes. Neither of these teams have loads and loads of talent. Will they win plenty of games? Yes. Will they both go bowling? Many would say probably so. I'm not committing to that yet, but odds are both can reach that 6-win mark. And if you're an Oregon State or Washington State fan, I'm hoping for a winning record in the regular season. So at least 7 wins, 7 or 8 wins, a solid bowl berth, laying that foundation for the future, considering the uncertainty and just the wildness that has been the last year or so for both these programs. But again, expecting some 10, 11, 12-win season for these teams, it's not going to happen. A playoff berth, it's not in the cards for them, despite the easy record. This is not your typical power program that's going to get the benefit of the doubt that if they were to win 10, 11, 12 games in the Pac-12, right? Because the strength of schedule simply is not there. The talent is not there. It's just going to be a weird year. But Oregon State and Washington State, here at the Gridiron Expert, you have not been forgotten. We are going to cover you. We're going to cover you well. We're going to have predictions for you coming out here in a few weeks. We're going to cover you during the season as well. You're not getting the attention not going to get the attention that you deserve from the national media, or maybe like you were in the past when you were a member of the Pac-12, but you will get it here. You have not been forgotten, and I will say we are very anxious to see what the season has in store for both of you. So guys, as always, thank you so much for watching us here at the Gridiron Expert on YouTube. Make sure to continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, and of course, check out everything down in the description below. Again, we've got our expert picks over on thegridironexpert.com. Do not miss out on those. The earlier you sign up for those, the better. We've got our mailing address. We'd love to get some Oregon State or Washington State gear to have on display here, so send it our way. We will have it on display in every single video. And once again, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on the Gridiron Expert.